Chapter 51. Carapace Centurion from Shadow Slave. Though monsters had a degree of intelligence, it was primitive and instinctual. Unlike humans, their minds operated on raw predatory impulse. Their tactics were clever in a bestial sense, but not insurmountable. That inherent limitation gave Sonny and his companions an opportunity to exploit. Once their strategy was set, the trio got to work. While Nephi's changing star prepared herself, Sonny gathered the soul shards from the fallen scavengers. 8 in total. He brought them to her, and she crushed each shard in her fist, one by one, absorbing their essence into her soul core. Her breathing grew heavier as the transformation occurred. When it was done, she opened her eyes and took in a long breath. For a sleeper, consuming the essence of 8 awakened beasts was comparable to defeating 16 dormant ones. The gain wasn't overwhelming, but it was substantial. Her body had become tougher, faster, and more refined across the board, and they were going to need every bit of that enhancement. Nephi was naturally in tune with her body, so adjusting to her new limits didn't take long. Once she was ready, she turned to Sonny. "Are you ready?" Sonny glanced at his shadow, hoping for some encouragement. The shadow ignored him completely. "Traitor, as ready as I'll ever be," he muttered. With a nod, Nephi shifted her attention to Cassie. There was little left to say. Everything had been planned, discussed, and weighed. Words wouldn't ease Cassie's fears, not when she was the one left behind, unable to act. Oddly enough, Sonny wouldn't have wanted to switch places with her. Facing the unknown terror head-on felt less helpless than sitting on the sidelines, waiting for fate to unfold. In a twisted way, being in danger was a blessing. Cassie forced a smile through her nerves and said to Nephi, "Go take that thing down. Maybe you'll finally find something decent to wear, so I don't feel guilty every time I look at you." A faint smirk tugged at Nephi's lips. "Okay." Then she turned to Sonny, her face regaining its steely focus. "Let's go." Moments later, Sonny stood atop a ridge, looking down at the monstrous creature below. The shadow clung tightly to him, lending strength. Their plan was solid. It had a fair shot of succeeding. Still, a gut feeling warned him something was off. "I've got a bad feeling about this." He exhaled and summoned the silver bell, then gave it a gentle shake. A sharp, melodic chime echoed through the wind and rain. The beast below reacted instantly, spinning its torso and scanning the surroundings. When it saw Sonny, a crimson blaze ignited in its gaze. But Sonny wasn't looking back. The moment he rang the bell, he turned and leapt from the ridge without hesitation. Though not especially tall, the drop was significant. He slammed into the rocky ground and rolled to absorb the blow. Scrambling to his feet, he dashed forward. Behind him, the ridge erupted in a cascade of shattered stone as the creature tore through it like it was nothing. Thunder and lightning roared overhead, masking the beast's destruction. The abomination locked on to Sonny and gave chase. Scythe-like limbs aimed to strike. Shards of rock spilled off its body like a collapsing mountain. Thankfully, Sonny had gained enough distance. He ducked low, sprinted a bit farther, and suddenly pivoted. The monster, over 3 meters of relentless death, charged like a runaway locomotive. Sonny didn't budge. The azure blade was raised high. He was the bait, after all. Just as the beast lunged, it hit the trap. Barely visible in the storm, a golden rope stretched between 2 large boulders at the height of its leg joints. Sonny had earlier slipped underneath it. Blinded by rage, the creature plowed into the rope full speed. Had it been ordinary, it would have snapped instantly. But this was no normal rope. It was a memory, imbued with unyielding strength. The rocks anchoring it weren't as tough. They shattered immediately, but it was enough. The creature's front legs jerked back, throwing it off balance. It crashed to the ground, skidding forward on wet stone and carving a trench behind it. Sonny quickly jumped out of the way. The monster didn't stay down for long. 2 scythes stabbed into the ground, halting its momentum, and it began rising, quicker and more agile than its size suggested. If it got to its feet, the fight was over. Luckily, Sonny's echo was faster. The moment the enemy fell, the Echo stopped playing dead, sprang forward, and launched itself onto the creature's back. It pinned the beast down and clamped its pincers around the enemy's upper limbs, just beneath the sides. Despite being wounded by the spikes on the carapace, it managed to hold the monster down, if only briefly. But a second was all they needed. Appearing like a ghost in the rain, Nephice emerged from her hiding place. She dashed forward, weaving between the beast's deadly limbs, and lunged. Driving her long sword forward with all her might, she targeted a vulnerable point where the armor segments met. They didn't know if the stronger monster shared the same weakness as its lesser kin. But logic suggested that even the toughest shell had to flex somewhere. Her blade found the gap and plunged deep. The hilt pressed against the creature's hide as the steel vanished inside. Yes, Sonny thought, heart leaping, but then his joy turned to dread. The creature didn't even flinch. With a sudden jerk, it threw the Echo from its back and pushed itself upright. Scythes scraped against stone as it pulled them free. Nephice, weaponless, stood right in front of it. Oh no! Sonny was too far away. The Echo was down. Nephice was alone. The beast lashed out with both sides. Then, unexpectedly, a pair of pincers clamped down on one of the blades. The Echo had recovered, slowing the attack just enough. Nephice let go of her sword and dove forward, right under the creature's body. It was a dangerous move. If it simply collapsed, she'd be crushed. But she had no choice. This is spiraling fast. By now, Sonny was at its back. He swung the azure blade down at a rear leg. It sliced through chitin and drew azure blood, but didn't sever the limb. Then the leg was gone. The monster had turned, too fast, and now faced him head-on. His crimson eyes blazed with fury. Before Sonny could act, a bone scythe smashed into his chest like a battering ram. In a split-second decision, he transferred the shadow from his body to the puppeteer's shroud. The armor held. The scythe didn't skewer his heart, but it didn't spare him the agony. His ribs cracked under the pressure. He was thrown into the air like a puppet cut from its strings. He awoke on the ground, pain clouding every thought. He couldn't breathe. Blood poured from his mouth, choking him. His limbs refused to move. Only the shadow responded, wrapping around him, delaying the end. I'm really messed up. With thoughts sluggish and fading, Sonny tilted his head toward the sky. No stars awaited him, only those two burning eyes, closing in from the void.